Good morning friends, welcome to the point. In this video we will understand a kind of tax called Tobin tax. We'll start with a definition. So, speculative short flow of money has always been worrisome for the central banks of any economy. To curb that, several measures have been taken. So one of them is Tobin tax. It is a tax which is levied on inflow of short-term capital. So what happens is, if you see in any economy, there's a lot of money that comes from foreign markets, which we usually refer to as foreign institutional investors. These people invest money in the stock market, and the money that comes in is usually in the form of dollars, that is American dollars. Now, when there is abundance of dollars in the market, the price of dollar would automatically fall, or the exchange rate would definitely improve. So earlier, where the dollar was available, $1 was available for 72 rupees, $1. Now, since there is too much of it in the market, so it could probably fall to 70 rupees. Now you can get $1 for 70 rupees, or say 68 rupees. Okay. Now what happens is, when there is too much of inflow, the exchange rate improves or the price of dollar depreciates. Okay. Now let's suppose if there is any news which evades the trust of investors, or there is some foreign avenue which the investor feel is more safe than the country. Let's suppose this money has come in India, and now they have got the news that some certain strict policies is gonna come in, due to which the tax laws would be strict. Or let's suppose they find some interesting rate of interest in a country like Singapore. So what will these FIIs do is, they will take out the money and they will take the money to Singapore or whatsoever country is it. So now what you see is, there is outflow of dollars from the market. So when there is outflow of dollars from the market, so there is paucity of dollars in the market, right? And whenever the dollars are less and demand is more, then what will happen is the dollar will increase. Now where you were getting the dollar for 168 rupees, now if the dollars are being taken out of the market, so now the price will increase. Now you might have to spend 70 rupees to get $1, or depending upon the demand, if more and more dollar is being taken out of the economy and the dollar is still in demand, it could go to 75 or say 80, depending upon the market dynamics. So what happens in the country from where the dollar is being taken, that whole of the exchange rate goes for a toss, and there is lot of instability in the financial market, because all of a sudden a lot of foreign currency is being withdrawn, and people start thinking that the markets are going to crash, or the exchange rate is going to go for a toss. So in order to save the country, save the economy from such financial instability, and discourage people to all of a sudden bringing in a lot of capital and all of a sudden taking out of it, a tax is levied, which would make their transactions expensive, because definitely tax acts as a burden on the people who are transacting the currency. So that tax is called as Tobin tax, and this tax was introduced by James Tobin, who was an economist, and it was proposed by him in 1972 in the form of currency transaction tax. So currency transaction tax, as in the currency. So initially you're getting the dollar exchange for rupees, and all of a sudden, then when the investors want to pull out the money from the country, they are again getting the rupees converted into dollar or whatsoever currency they want, so causing huge financial instability in the economy. So we'll go through the definition. The initial concept of tax put a penalty on short-term financial ventures into another currency. Rather than the consumer paying a tax, Tobin tax would be paid by the market players as a method for controlling the stability of the currency. So the people who are bringing in the money, who are getting it converted, will pay the tax. The idea behind the Tobin tax was to develop a way to manage the exchange rate volatility, because as soon as a large amount of money is poured in or it is taken out, it causes instability. So to curb all such activities, we put this Tobin tax. Whenever the currency exchange rate of one country appreciates, financial investors tend to move towards that market, leaving the marketing of exiting country as a volatile one. As I explained you in the case of India, all of a sudden, if there is some good signs of investment, a lot of dollar will come in, so which will strengthen the exchange rate of country, and the rupee dollar ratio will definitely the dollar will depreciate and rupee will appreciate. But in the reverse case, where the investors want to pull out a lot of dollars from the market, now in this case the dollar will depreciate and the rupee will the dollar will appreciate and rupee will depreciate, leading the exchange rate very volatile. So Tobin tax aims to curb such transactions by levying tax on movement of capital from one country to another. So what you have to remember is, long story short is it is a tax which is paid on capital or the currency conversion from one currency to another, to curb the sudden financial movement from one country to another. Merits of levying such tax: it first is definitely discourages the inflow of hot money or short-term speculative capital because of the tax burden. So initially, when the investors were coming in, they don't have to pay the tax. They can whenever they wish to, they could come and invest, and whenever they wish, they could exit the market. So the what this all these activities were causing was the instability in the exiting country, so which should not happen. So this will discourage definitely. The government and the central bank gets a gestation time to get the required adjustment to counter the destabilizing effects of both outflows and inflows, because there is definitely money that has been collected via taxation. So yeah, central bank could use that money collected via tax to stabilize the effect of it. The time taken to pay the tax slows the process of entry and exit of capital, because you can't just pay tax in some less amount of time. There is certain procedure where you have to pay the tax and get the things cleared, and then get in the money into some country. So yes, it will give time to the government or the central bank to manage, and they could gauge that there's a lot of people who are coming in to pay this currency transaction tax, so which means it is a sign that a lot of money is gonna come in. So they could take such actions that the volatility of the currency is not affected much. Fourth is revenue obtained from capital tax, or that this Tobin tax can be used for social development purpose or any other purpose which the government thinks is best for. So yeah, all you have to remember here is that Tobin tax is a tax which is applied on conversion of currency from one currency to another, and it is the crux behind is that it is used to prevent the sudden inflow or outflow of money. So I hope it is clear. And before I wind up this session, there is a small assignment for all of you, is that you have to find out that whether RBI, which is the central bank of the country, has ever levied Tobin tax in our country or not. So this is a small homework for you, and here I wind up this video. So thank you so much for your patience listening.